Okay, Leon, we're ready to go.
All right. You're recording, right? There we go. Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to our third cooking class of this series. I'm Leon. I have Maya, obviously, with me. She's going to be presenting Arepas today. But first, I'd like to give the microphone to Faith to say her part before we start.
Hello everyone, my name is Wayne and I am Ojibwe. I am the granddaughter of Tom Molyneux First Nations from Bear Island Reservation. I am also the Indigenous Youth Ambassador at GROW. And we are gathered here today on the traditional land of the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe people. This land is protected by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. I would now like to turn it over to Maya and Leon to start our cooking class.
Thank you. Well, as Leon said before, we're gonna make Colombian arepas this time. And I say Colombian just because there's different ways to prepare them, but this dish, it's mainly found in Venezuela and Colombian area. So if you go to an Argentinian person, they kind of wouldn't know what this is. So for this recipe, we're gonna use corn flour, but we're gonna use harina pan. I got this at the Latin grocery stores, and you could find it at some like food basics in the like international section. It needs to be this one because there's another one called maizeca, and it's made like it's used to make tortillas and pupusas, which is total different country, total different dish and food. So it needs to be this one if you want to make arepas. We're gonna use 2.5 cups. If you get it from Growth, then you on the bag is gonna be the exact amount that we're gonna use for this class. We're also gonna use salt, and I'm personally gonna use queso fresco, which is like the most similar cheese that we have back home. But you could also use mozzarella cheese or any type of cheese that you have. I already grated mine, so I have around 300 or 250 grams of cheese just because I like a lot of cheese on my arepas, but it's up to taste pretty much. I also have the amount of flour that I'm going to use in this little bowl right here. So first of all, make sure that the bowl is kind of dry, and you're going to put all the flour in. It should be about 2.5 cups of flour. There you go. Where is
So we need a bowl to mix everything.
Yes, I like a big bowl, and make sure it's like you're comfortable.
You have enough space to work?
Yeah. Okay. So after putting the flour, you're gonna add around a teaspoon of salt. It's also up to taste. If you are using a salty cheese, I would recommend to put less cheese in that. Less salt in that. But yeah, just about a teaspoon. And you are supposed to use 1/2 cup more of water than you use of flour. So if you had 2.5, you would use 3 cups of water. So I just have the bowl here, and I'm just gonna make sure it's the right amount. Might need more water for this. First one. 2.5. And make sure you have your hands clean. I'm gonna wash mine real quick, just because I'm gonna start like eating. Okay, so once your hands are clean, just put your hands on the bowl and just start kneading. Try to get the water, the flour. You should have kind of like a dry consistency once you're done kneading the dough. So I have like clumps now.
Yeah, it's already getting dry. It
Yeah.
should be pretty quick.
Yeah. Just get the bottom too. I might need a little more water just because it does need to be dry. You could taste the dough and make sure it has the right amount of salt. Just put it on. And my advice, if you want to have like, if you want to make like a big bowl of dough and keep it on the fridge, just try to put a little bit more extra water because with the day it gets drier and drier. It's just advice. That's what I do. So I like to do a lot and just keep it for a couple of days, weeks. Okay, so once you have the flour and the water combined all together, that's when you that's when you're gonna add the cheese. So just put it almost everything. Yeah. All right. Just try to get it all everywhere. There's no really right way of combining the ingredients. Just make sure everything is like.
And why would we add a little more water?
If it gets too dry when you try to form the little cake with your hands or with the kind of more like I'm gonna do, it's gonna tear apart.
Oh, okay.
This is
So the water is just to stay sticky.
Yeah. You should be eating for like about 4 to 6 minutes. It depends on how you do it.
If anyone's falling behind, make sure you ask in the chat. I can't answer this time, but Maya can. Because I haven't done this yet. It's my first time.
You haven't tried this before.
No.
Okay, so once you have the dough, it'll should look something like this. It's resistant, it's kind of solid. You can see, I don't know. There's a lot of cheese in there. So once you have that, I'm gonna ask you to turn your stove on and put it around low and medium heat. So now 2, like that. And you're gonna, well, depending on how you want your arepas, you can either fry them or like not boil them. It's like you could use a lot of oil, you can use less oil, depends on you. I like them when they're like really crispy, so I add a lot of oil. But it's up to preference, really. There's not a right way to get it done. Like I said before, there's so many different ways that you can make these, and they can go well for breakfast, for lunch, for dessert, for dinner, for everything.
Well, dessert.
Dessert too,
Some cases, yeah.
because we also make them instead of adding salt. If you put a little bit of sugar cane or sugar, it's also pretty good. What's the type of oil? Well, it could be any type of oil. I'm using canola oil. You could use vegetable oil, or you could even use butter. I have this one that's vegan. But it depends on you, pretty much.
Whatever oil you feel best with.
Whatever you can find, really doesn't matter. So for the next part, like on the first class that I used a piece of plastic or a plastic bag, a clean one, I'm gonna use the same trick as the last time. So I'm gonna make a little ball of dough, place it on the plastic bag, and then put a cutting board on top. Press it, and then we're gonna have like the little cake, just the same process as we did with the patacones.
There's another question. Butter was listed in ingredients. Is this where you use it, or is it only for like replacement for other oil?
It's a replacement for oil, pretty much. You don't like put it on the dough. So the dough is only corn flour, salt, cheese, and water. That's all you're gonna use for the dough. So yeah, the bowl should be about the size. So like at this side, hold my hand. If you want them bigger, then you just make a bigger bowl. you want the smaller, then you need the smaller bowl. So put the bowl in the plastic bag or plastic piece of plastic. We cover it. We put the cotton board on top, so you have the little bowl here. You can see it, and then you press a little, not too much, because it can. If you put a lot of pressure, then it's gonna get too thin, and it might break apart. So when you lift this up, you have something like this.
It's like a pancake.
Like a pancake, kind of,
Like
yeah.
a fat pancake.
So you have something like this. This is one like really thick, you can see, but it's solid. You can play with it. So once there's that, you just place it on the oil. And whenever it gets golden on the side, you just flip it. Mine doesn't come, like the amount of oil that I have doesn't cover the whole thing. If that's your case, that's okay. You can just wait until it goldens on the one side and then just like flip it so that you can get both sides covered. So pretty much with the patacones, as one is frying, you're making the other one, and it's like the process. So yeah.
Same with this. You just fry some, you do the other one.
Yeah.
And how long do they fry for?
Depending on the stove, I mean, on the pan and the amount of oil that you use, there's many variants. But I would say pretty much until it's golden. So it would take about 6 to 12 minutes on each side. Depends on the stove, of course. And you want to put it on low, medium heat just because you want to make sure it's cooked on the inside. So yeah, if anyone has questions at this point, just let me know. I'll be more than happy to help. My pan is pretty small, so I can only fit one at a time. So I'm just gonna grab a plate and put my arepas on the side. So all over the country in Colombia, because you have different regions, we have different weathers, so the culture really varies within the country. In each city, in each province, you could say, we all have a different way to prepare them. For the Caribbean part, we like to have them fried. We make them sweet, we make them salty. We would have it with eggs in the morning. So we would like fry it and put eggs on top or inside even. We're really creative with it because you can really make a lot out of one little dish, you could say.
A lot of photos on Google will show you like a lot of stuff inside the
Yeah.
arepa, but you like to take it a little more simple.
Yeah.
But it tastes good.
Yeah, and bigger cities like Bogota, the capital, and Medellin, they don't like to put salt on their arepas. They really go simple, so they only put flour, the corn flour, and the water. That's it. You have it like that, and you usually have it on the
Barbecue on the grill.
On the grill. You would not fry it, but you would have it on the grill.
Oh, interesting.
So this one's getting golden on the side. So I'm just gonna flip it.
And there it is.
There it is.
Is that side not done?
I like to flip them a couple times just to make sure they're like cooked, because when you get them really thick, you want to make sure the inside is cooked.
Yeah.
If you see that it's getting golden in a really short time, then just put a less temperature, I would say.
Janie asked how many cups of grated cheese.
I added around 250 grams. That would be around a cup, I think, of cheese, but it's up to you. Like,
Yeah.
you want to put more, less, up to you.
We want a lot of cheese. So,
Yes, we always want a lot of cheese.
so all of that.
My favorite memory of a child when I was helping my mom or my grandma making arepas is that they would give me a really small dough, a bowl of dough, and I would make my own arepa, but it would be like the smallest one because I was like small, I was a kid, so it would represent me. doing it. And nowadays, it's really easy to make these because this actually used to be a pre-Columbian dish. So on the Colombian and Venezuela area. So indigenous people would like grow the corn. They would have to cook it. They would have to peel it. They would have to grind it, then dry it out. And at the end, they have to grind it a couple times so that we get the flour. So it was a really long process just to get this. But nowadays, it's more easy to get the flour on the stores everywhere, even in different countries like here. So that's really good.
So everything is virtually the preference, but what matters is to get the mixing rate.
Yeah.
And make sure it's proper, not too thin. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
And we flipped it on the
On the other
side.
side.
It's getting quite golden now, and like we said, like it crispy.
Yeah,
can-
on the side especially.
When you know that it's done, it's up to you that how crispy you want it afterwards.
Yeah. So for the size of the ball, I usually have the ball needs to be like big enough so that I can cover them with both of my hands and no dough needs to leak out. Then that's the whole thing.
A little bigger than a ping pong.
Yeah. I have to say that the one that you make with this flour than the one that you make with the like corn and peeling, like the way they used to do it before, you can find both of them back home. And they really taste different. Like there's a different way to make them even because you would have a really thick arepa and they would make it on the grill. So with charcoal. So it would taste just like different. It's really a different experience. I can't explain it.
And it's different. I'm guessing it's different like when you do the whole process and when you get that, because that's always the same mix.
Yes.
And when you make it yourself, it can be a lot different.
Yeah.
Close to done?
Yeah, it's almost done. So as you can say, I had to boil it a couple times. It's getting a little burnt. That's how I like it. So I'm just gonna take this one out and put the other ones. There you go. It's a little fried one. And then you just place another one. You keep going until all of them are done. The thinner it is, the quicker it'll cook and it'll fry. So you just have to be careful with the time. And if you have remaining dough, because I know 2 cups are a lot, I would use the same bag that I use to like press them and actually make a little pancake. To cover it, I would make a big bowl and just cover it with the plastic. And you can keep it in the fridge around a week, actually, so it lasts a lot. You could have it in the mornings, in the afternoons, or even at dinner. You could have it with avocado. Same with like patacones. It works like a toast, so you could put everything you want on top. You could also put sour cream and feta too, like with the last time with the patacones. You could have eggs with it. You could have bacon. You could have toast, avocado. You could have whatever you want.
So that's a replacement for bread.
You could say, yeah. I see. Sorry. You could also replace the mozzarella cheese for feta cheese or any type of cheese, even cheddar cheese will work in this case.
Yeah, if you're looking for a similar, it would be feta, I guess,
Feta, yeah.
or some kind of mozzarella.
Some cheese that you could grate and put it with the dough, so you get like that cheesy flavor.
Mhm.
You could also, instead of like grating it and put it in the dough, you put it on top. So there's so many variations to it. That
Do you want to show them how we grip it?
So for this one that's done, because this one is a little like thin, when you tear it apart, you can see like the cheese a little bit.
Yeah, it's melted cheese coming apart. It's all good.
And you have something like this. Inside it's a little white. With the same dough, you could actually make empanadas, which is a different dish, but it's the same flour.
Yeah. So you would buy that same thing and make.
Yeah, well, you would do the same process. So instead of like doing them like this, you would put something on the middle and close it and fry it.
Yeah.
So there's really a
If
lot.
you've seen empanadas, they're like little. How would you describe the shape? Like they're
Half of a circle.
like imagine a taco, but it's completely covered and it's smaller and it's full of things inside. So not like a taco, but
So this is what an empanada looks like. It's something like this. This one, it's made out of wheat flour. That's why it looks different. But if you use this dough, it will look different, but it's the same shape. So you would, instead of having like an open circle, you would put something on top and then you would close it and make sure to like, it doesn't open and fry it. But you would have to deep fry it because it needs to cover the whole thing. We even have one little thing that we use to make empanadas. Just it's something we do and then we use it all the time.
a tool that makes them look. the way
Yeah. I can actually show it. It's not cheating, but so you put the arepa, you put it here, and then you put something like cheese. You can put sausages, whatever you want.
chicken.
Yeah,
vegetables.
and then with this little object, you close it, and then gives you the shape, like a little half circle.
Just because it's something you might have heard of already. the
Probably,
that's
yeah.
popular.
There's actually a place here in St. Catherine's downtown. It's called Fiesta Empanadas, which is empanada party. And they sell Argentinian empanadas. It's the closest thing we could get to this, but it's still the same technique.
Same idea.
Same idea, yeah.
I'll just write the name in the chat.
Yeah, it's in downtown. So Catherine's, if you ever want to go by shop, they're a really small business. So that would be really great to support.
If anyone wants to show the progress, if they want to see if it's approved by the chef, they can go ahead and show it to the camera.
Just to be clear, I'm showing you the Colombian style. If I know if a Venezuelan, someone from there sees that, they're not gonna agree with me. Let's just make their friend. I have to admit they're really good though. I've tried them and it's really good. It's really hard to resist. We need a little.
If you're using one of this type of cheese that's not too salty, generally you might have to put a little more salt in a teaspoon. It depends on the cheese. Like if you're using cheddar cheese, then you don't need much salt. So it depends on the balance of saltiness that you like in cheese. No.
Taking over? Yeah, you have to finish it. You might, they actually suck a lot of oil, like each arepa. So if you want them to like if you want all of your arepas to have the same crispiness, you might have to add a little bit of oil. But I would recommend to wait for the oil to heat and then add the arepa. So don't put it while the arepa is on the pan, because again, it gets like soggy. Don't worry.
Yeah, we're almost out of oil.
Yeah. I'm really hoping you're enjoying your arepas.
Yeah, I see a couple of people already eating their product. I hope you're enjoying it. I hope it turned out well.
Hi, Maya. I want to tell you how I made my. I want to tell you how I made mine.
Yeah. That looks
I
really
didn't
nice.
put any cheese. I didn't put any cheese inside.
You could put it on top if you would like, or something you might want to have with it. But it looks
I
really
I put Nutella in mine.
nice. You could. It's your arepa. You can make whatever you want with it.
And Janie asked, ¿de qué parte de Colombia estás, Maya? Y Leon. But
Wow.
first of all, I'm not Colombian.
No, he
She is,
wishes.
yeah.
I am actually from the Caribbean part of the country. So you probably have heard of Cartagena. That's like the most popular city in that area. But I am from Santa Marta. It's a really small town, 4 hours away on car. From the not from here. From Cartagena. It has beautiful and magic beaches. I know that the phrase of the city, it's the magic of having everything, because we have La Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, which is a little system. Yeah, there's like mountains all around. So you have like, if you go up there, you could have a little different type of weather. You would have a total different experience. That's also where most of the native people of the region are found. So you could actually have encounters with them. They're really nice people and they're really lovely. So you can go have like that mountain and hiking type of like experience. You could also go to the beach.
The water is very blue, I have to say that.
Yeah, and it's very clean depending on the beaches that you go. There's a national park called El Parque Tayrona, and it's also like a reserve of native people. It's a really large park, and it goes up to the Caribbean Sea. So if you ever want to go there, it takes up to 4 hours to just know the whole place. It's a really nice the town. People are so lovely there, and because it's a small town, pretty much everybody knows everybody. So that's really nice. It's a really warm place. People is very nice too. So I'm gonna add a little bit of butter, just so you guys can take a look how it looks like with butter, not oil. I was born and raised there all my life, and I only been in this country for a year and a half, actually. Well, actually 2 years. Yeah, I really miss it there, especially with my family and my friends. I know my grandma or my aunt, they're both connected right now and they're watching me. So thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm honored that you thought that I'm from there. It makes me feel better.
Is what
Yeah.
I could try and do the good part.
Yeah.
My favorite way to eat this is eating the ends first, because they're really crispy. I just wanted to thank you guys for, I know this is only, well, it's almost the next class is class. But I just wanna, I'm really grateful for the people that are seeing us. I know it's almost an hour of your time that I'm taking. And it's really nice to see that people really like care about your culture. And it's really interested. So I just wanted to thank you for your time, for listening to me, and for just being a part of this. I didn't try it.
Thank you, Maya and Leon, for hosting us today. Thank you so much. I'm going to stop recording, and if anyone else wants to ask a question or show us what they've made, go right ahead.
Sure. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks to you.
Janie just asked, so the arepas won't work with the maceta I bought?
Yeah, because that's for tortilla.